Opposition parties and the APC clashed on Saturday after President Bola Tinubu forwarded a fresh list of 32 ambassadorial nominees to the Senate, his first major diplomatic appointments since recalling all envoys in 2023. The list, now totaling 35 nominees, drew sharp criticism from the PDP, ADC, and NNPP, who accused the president of using diplomatic postings to reward political allies and controversial figures. They described the inclusion of former INEC chairman Mahmood Yakubu as scandalous and damaging to Nigeria's global image. While the presidency defended the list as a mix of 15 career and 17 non-career nominees, critics argued that Tinubu's choices reflected poor judgment and a disregard for public perception. PDP spokesperson Ini Emelbong said the nominations, especially Yakubu's, signaled the troubling precedent of rewarding individuals linked to contentious public service records. ADC spokesman Bolaji Abdullahi dismissed the list as job for the boys, warning that many nominees may not secure foreign approval before the 2026 elections. The APC countered that the allegations were baseless, insisting that Yakubu and others were qualified Nigerians deserving of service opportunities. APC Publicity Director Bala Ibrahim argued that former INEC chiefs had held national roles without controversy and accused opposition parties of politicizing routine diplomatic appointments. The presidency maintained that all nominees would receive postings after Senate confirmation. What do you make of this story? I mean, when the list of ambassador nominees came out, it was quite controversial. You know, a lot of people had a lot of things to say. Apart from the political parties, even Nigerians had a lot to say. Nze, I'm interested to know what your take is, and who in the list stood out for you.
Before we begin to consider the people in the list and how they would represent Nigeria, the first thing was the first thing that caught my concern was the absence of a diplomat in most of the countries, a diplomat from Nigeria in most of the countries for the past 2 years now. You know, when the Mr. President recalled all the diplomats from about, I think, up to some countries when he assumed office, we were like, he would appoint the next moment. But that lasted for more than 1 year. And now he came up with this appointment, citing some reasons for the delay, which is left for him. He didn't explain that to us. But when the appointment list came, initially when he appointed the first three, when he brought the first three list, I had no problem with that. Because I believe that if the government should be able to go through the data of these people and their antecedents and all that, they should be able to maybe clear them for the position. But when the second list came, there was wow everywhere. When I started citing people like, let me start from Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, the past, immediate past governor of Enugu State, Okezie Ikpeazu, immediate past governor of Abia State, Reno Mokri, and well, that is we started seeing names, Femi Fani-Kayode, the likes, and it was like, what is really happening? There are other names, like INEC chairman, all these people coming up. The question I ask myself, first, are there no qualified persons again in the states where some of these people are coming from? Or is Mr. President using this diplomatic office to pay off those who he felt worked for him? Is he considering the interest of Nigerians first, or is he considering settling his boys? If you are sending somebody like Yakubu Mahmood to another country to represent Nigeria, when you know that those countries have read news, information about this particular person and his activities.
Not reading news. When you type in Mahmood Yakubu,
what will pop up in your phone?
Pop up? When you type in Femi Fani-Kayode, what will pop up when you type in Reno or Mokri? What will pop up when you type in Okezi? Okezi pass.
See, the truth is that this nomination proves that either President Bola Tinubu is not even aware of what is happening in Nigeria.
Now, one would say to
I'm not interested in what would happen to Nigeria after
well,
that.
one would say, maybe not being interested in what is happening in Nigeria, but does the image of Nigeria matter to the president? Because in the first instance, for a country like Nigeria that has battered global image
already,
to stay for 2 years without any form of international diplomatic relationship leaves a lot, you know, to be questioned. It leaves a lot to the thought. And now that, you know, these issues are happening, Nigeria is on global news for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
For everything wrong. And then one would say to a large extent that one would expect that the president, in appointing nominees for the public image, the global image of the country, because when we talk about ambassadors, they are representatives. So we are talking about when he's appointing people for the global image of the country to repair, to do PR, public relations, to repair the image of the country. One would expect people who, to a large extent, are stainless.
Yeah.
Right? People who, to a large extent, there are a lot of Nigerians who are even domiciled abroad, who have made names.
Outstanding names.
I mean, for example, even appointing people like Chairman Mandadiche as an ambassador would have done much more.
Any country you post him to
would have done a lot for Nigerian image.
You see Nigeria from the angle of this young woman.
Exactly. He would have done a lot.
But look at the people that were selected.
Hold on. Look at the brilliant woman who went to interface with the US Congress. Yes, to a large extent, I could feel the tension, right? A lot of people will feel that tension. But that woman was brilliant. Extremely brilliant.
You're talking about the Bianca?
Not Bianca. I'm not talking of their Bianca. I think her name is Ogechi or something. There was a young lady in recent times that interfaced with the US Congress to have conversations around insecurity in Nigeria. Okay. This should be about 2 weeks ago. Very brilliant. I listened to her. She handled the issues diplomatically, and even though she was being sincere to a large extent, she took responsibility where responsibility should be taken. And she said, this is what we can do, even though she was firm on saying no to US intervention in a sovereign state. But it was done in a way that the US did not feel a certain way about it. And at the end of the day, they at least were willing to, you know, they offered the right hand of fellowship, even though there were conditions attached to it. There are a lot of technocrats in this country, a whole lot of technocrats that will make a whole lot of difference. The question is, why do the political class love thriving in controversy? And the fact remains that, for me, ambassadorial position has to do with diplomatic relationship.
Yeah.
And when you bring in, you type in the names of, for example, Femi Fani-Kayode. First of all, the scandal with the wife is all over social media. It's all over. The videos of Femi Fani-Kayode losing his temper and blasting a press person, even though he later apologized, it's all over. So now, when there is crisis between Nigeria and other countries, for example, if Femi Fani-Kayode, if I'm to go with his temperament, was on that hot seat, and certain offensive or provocative questions were thrown to him, will he react like that? Because, I mean, you're dealing with people on the international scene who will get personal data on you, understand your weaknesses and poke your weaknesses very well for the public to see. And one would say at this point in time that Nigeria is in such desperate need of apt, capable representation. Are these people the only persons remaining in the country? Is there a dearth of capable people to represent us at the international scene?
The truth is that from what we are seeing, it's obvious.
I think Kojo Zokalo's daughter is among the ambassadorialists.
Yeah, as was said, though I'm yet to pick her name. I don't know if she's the Ogbonnaya of person. I don't know her.
There is an Oji there.
Okay, there's what
Yes.
I thought was Ogbonnaya Carlo.
No,
So
not that.
I didn't see Oji there, but I will yet go back to go through the list again to find out. But if his daughter is there and the girl is sharp, then
And she's qualified. It's
what
not
is
a
my
problem.
problem with that?
But Okezi
But my
Basu,
problem is, when you type Okezi, let's take for instance, he's being sent to Canada, or he's being
the
sent
question
to
would be, what was his delivery as a governor of a
then
state?
what is he coming to do? How will he represent? He could not represent Abia State. Look at how the little that Alex Oti in doing in Abia State has completely shadowed everything he did for 8 years. Look at how the little that Oti is doing has shadowed everything. Also, how will he represent Nigeria? How will Ifeanyi represent Nigeria? How will Reno Mokri?
Reno.
Oh God.
Oh God. So, in this way, I wouldn't say I'm supporting the opposition party.
Femi Fani Kayode, genuinely speaking, if we are to set aside one or two things, one would consider that he is articulate. Femi Fani Kayode is very articulate, as against the names you've mentioned, like Okezi Basu. Femi Fani Kayode is intelligent. Nobody can.
We know to a large. We know he's not new to us.
Femi Fani Kayode,
but we know his areas, his weaknesses.
Femi Fani Kayode is very articulate. Femi Fani Kayode has charisma. Femi Fani Kayode has personality. I'm saying if you take away certain issues around financial misappropriation, though it has been cleared, the cases was it even cleared or was it dropped? But I know that those cases have been struck off, right? Those cases have been resolved. He had pending anti-graft cases, but it has been resolved not too long ago. And then the issue around the public disgraceful stuff around his marriage to one of his wives, his ex-wives. When you set that aside, if we are to look at minus these weaknesses, one can look at Femi Fani Kayode and say, yes, he can represent, in the sense that when you look at qualities of being articulate, being intelligent, being able to think on your feet, if we are to set this aside.
But we cannot do that.
I know we cannot understand my point. I need you to understand my point to know what I'm saying. I know we cannot set it aside, but I am looking at cerebral qualification.
Okay.
Not this other one. Now, when you look at the person of Femi Fani Kayode in terms of cerebral qualification, and you bring in Okezi Basu side by side, I don't know if you understand where I'm heading to now.
Definitely.
So, make it make sense to me. One could say, okay, with Femi Fani Kayode, despite every other thing, Femi Fani Kayode, these qualities I mentioned. Now, explain Okezi Basu to me, please.
What will anybody explain about Okezi Basu? Is it the rot in his government? Is it the insensitivity? Is it lack of willpower? Is it the drunkenness? Is it how do we classify him? Where will we send? Are we going to send him to Cotonou as our ambassador? Or are we going to send him to Cameroon as our ambassador? Where will they send him?
I'm interested to know the countries that the president will post all these people to.
Yeah, some of them could be posted to United Nations and all that and all that. So now the problem, you have just rightly mentioned the image of the country. It's like it doesn't matter to Mr. President. And while he was coming on board, everybody was that he will fix things, he will do this, he will do that, he will restore the integrity of the country from where Buhari, damaged it. But you see that he keeps on damaging it to the extent it was in his time. The U.S. government didn't describe Nigeria as a country of particular concern in Buhari's time. It is in Tinubu's time. And mind you that immediately Mr. Donald Trump made that statement, the whole world began to look at Nigeria with that view. And why, you see, Immediately after that, they started pushing. The bandits started striking here and there. Now, if there are people who are within Nigeria that are orchestrating these things, you see that Mr. President does not have the willpower to arrest the insecurity. And as the thing is escalating more and more till now, we are seeing him coming to make statement. But how powerful is your statement? And why he's making that statement, his Minister for Defense is resigning. Citing whatever reason which is best known to them. I don't care about that. But before then, who is Badaru? What connection does Badaru has with security that you make him Minister of Defense? What connection does Matawale have with security that you made him Minister of State for Defense? You see how he carried the unqualified and fixed there. And you see how insecurity have ravaged Nigeria. How will Mr. Bola Tinubu pay for the head and blood of the innocent Nigerians that have been shed by these Almajiris who are being recruited here and there for banditry and Boko Haram and insecurity and all that. So you see that we have a man on the seat that is saddled with responsibility of protecting lives and properties and the image of the country, who is there doing nothing. He's not helping matters, and he's more interested in strategizing and planning how to retain power in 2027. Just imagine that. But some of us will say, no, we need a better hand, which if by God's grace, if ADC, as the only political party that is still, having little breath in them, though not strongly on their feet, if Mr. Atiku Abubakar can swallow his pride and let Mr. Peter Obi go front and Atiku Abubakar deputize him, and the heat from ADC, somebody like me will come to ADC.
You know that what you just said right now is wishful thinking.
It is wishful thinking, but I'm saying that to Nigerians. I'm saying that to Atiku Abubakar. Perhaps my advice may work. It will shock you if at the end of the day it works out. Because Mr. Peter Obi has said, I will finish the remaining 4 years that is allocated to the South before power.
Like I said again, you just know what you just said.
It's a wishful thinking, but sometimes when you are on a crossroad, you just have to come up with these things. Right. So I'm pleading with Atiku Abubakar to please step down and let Mr. Peter Obi, champion the cause while you deputize him. Be a running mate to Mr. Peter Obi. He is better candidate for now.
Atiku Abubakar has been a vice president.
Yeah, let him be another one.
Why should he?
No, I believe that with Atiku's power, with Atiku's force and Peter Obi's force, they'll bring Bola Tinubu down.
You recall that before ADC became ADC, it was Atiku coalition.
Yeah, we know. We know very well.
It wasn't Obi's coalition.
Yeah.
It wasn't Amechi's coalition. Neither was it El Rufai's coalition. It was Atiku's coalition.
But if Atiku so much love Nigeria and means well for Nigeria,
have started the coalition, invested in the coalition for someone else.
But does he love Nigeria?
That's the question. What was part of the crisis that left PDP where it is? Is it not Atiku's presidential ambition?
No. If you go back to 2022, you discover that what led to the crisis and Atiku's emergence, 2022-2023, what led to Atiku's emergence was the refusal of Nyesom Wike to withdraw from the race and allow somebody from the southeast. If you can go back to investigate,
was Atiku a southern candidate?
See now, no. The agreement, the discussion then was that let somebody come from southeast. After which, when it will return back to north, it will go to northeast. But Nyesom Wike said no. He's from south-south. And you know that a south-southerner, in the person of Goodluck Bella Jonathan, just finished, in 2015. Now, 2023, let a southeasterner go who has never tested that office. And Nyesom Wike said no. He insisted. I think we say, if you are insisting, then we throw off the issue of zoning. Because the zoning should go to southeast. We can say no, it should be south.
Hold on. The zoning in Nigeria when it comes to presidency, it's not southeast, not central. It's the south.
Lorenza, let me tell you, to a large extent.
Hold on, please. It's the south and the north. The APC went for the south, regardless of southeast, southwest, south. Now, if, let's say, Atiku was so bothered that it has to go to the southeast, yes. Atiku has a lot of delegates. Primary is about delegates, is it not? Why not take up somebody from P2B? P2B, recall that P2B was also vying for the presidency as well.
And P2B was not the only candidate from Southeast.
Recall, hold on. So why not choose, since Wike is insisting it should be thrown open, right? It's a delicate thing. And Atiku has delegates. Atiku could have chosen, for example, to back Peter Obi.
That's a nice logic, but there are things
because Atiku wanted to, let us have this and no peace, because Atiku wanted to be president. And Atiku has defected to several other parties in time past in pursuit of that presidency.
We know.
So that's why I'm not telling you, what makes you think, now looking at all the parties around and the crisis bedeviling them, he decided to form a coalition. Then he will build that coalition to this point, only to step down because they are begging him, Atiku step down. So there
are things I'm looking at.
That's why I say, is it not wishful thinking?
No, there are things I'm looking at here.
Yes.
You know, sometime, after this time, I believe that age will knock Atiku out.
So he's looking at the fact that he doesn't have much time left.
He doesn't have much time left. But we are now looking at the interest of the country.
All right.
Atiku, look at what is happening to the country now. Look at the blood that is being shed on this country. Look at the image of Nigeria, your own country. If you can look at this and say, okay, if we leave Mr. President to continue for the next 4 years, it will not tell good to my country. And my children will continue living in this country. We know you've made money here, but my brother, it will get to a point where your money can no longer protect you. And now you say, for the love of Nigeria, let me relinquish this grip, my grip on the presidency. I mean, the #1 job. Let me go for #2. And let me...
You mean Atiku, right?
Yes, I'm talking about Atiku.
Atiku can also, if we are to go by where you're going now, then I would say probably zoning should be completely off the table and let the best man for the job win.
Fine.
Regardless of whether you're from the north. In fact, as it stands right now, let the best man for the job, not the person that has the greatest political clout, but the person that can and has the political will to deliver Nigeria. Let that person
Do you know that this is
regardless
the
of where
regardless
of which zone the person is coming from.
Yes.
I, Laurentia Choma, will vote that person.
Yes.
As long as that person has the political will as it stands now to deliver Nigeria. But the question is who?
And
how do we know them?
And again, it is difficult for us to know who has that political will, because when everybody is coming to the campaign floor, they are coming clean.
The question is that, no, they are not coming clean. These are people we know. These are people that have records. These are old wine recycling themselves in new wine bottles. And until we come to a point where we realize that they are recycling themselves, they have history. We know them. We know their antecedents. Nigerians can only decide to change their lives when they are ready. Nigerians can decide to come. In fact, Nigerians can decide to randomly form a political party.
And name it what?
Insist on that political party working. Bring out a youth that can deliver. If Nigerians should back that youth up, we vote and stand on that polling unit. We vote and insist. It happened in Imo State. It happened. Elections were rigged in Imo State. And women in Imo State came out they came out half naked. Imo State University students entered the streets. Federal Poly naked and students entered the streets. INEC had to do a rerun. And it was the Rochas Okorocha now. And the election was a landslide. There was a rerun in my local government. The election was Rochas Okorocha won by a landslide. Like, he won against an incumbent. that spirit is still in Nigerians.
Yeah, that spirit is still in Nigeria.
We need to wake it up.
But waking it up,
out of time.
Look at what we did in 2023. Nigerians tried. I commend Nigerians, honestly.
All right.
But after the effort, everything still ended up.
There is still hope. There is still hope. Thank you so much.
The media will have to do a lot of job.